quote here. It's just right around the corner from Union Station and right around the corner from the Oxford. This is David Bowie. I've done videos on this. This is an urban farmer right next door to Oxford. David Bowie. I don't know where I'm going from here, but I promise it won't be boring. David Bowie. I don't know where I'm going from here, but it won't, I promise it won't be boring. David Bowie, urban farmer, right outside of Oxford, across the street from Union Station in the heart of Lodo here in Denver. Minutes into this April 7th, Sunday evening, St. Mark's Coffee House. I want to talk about something on my last 5 minutes home that's very significant, and there's a lot more I want to share. First of all, on a sad note, my dad, who I've been with my whole life, who I wouldn't be here without my mom and dad, passed away 3 weeks ago today, Sunday, April 7th. And on the March 17th, my brother-in-law, Roger, called me from my dad and mom's place to let me know that my dad had passed away 30 minutes before. Now, since then, I've talked to my mom a few times on the phone, and yesterday she sent me an email and said that Dad's ashes arrived. My dad and mom both already had prearranged that they're both going to be cremated. So my dad's been officially cremated and has made his transition at 90 plus. Now, I have only 5 more minutes to talk about this. It's a big deal. Now, my mom and dad are all a part of my Driving to Tokyo channel, even though the central point of my Driving to Tokyo channel is driving, and 3 chapters of driving, taxi cab driving, limo driving, and driving here in Denver for 10 years. And then, big part was the big transition that my mom and dad were a part of, driving a big rig with 2 companies, CRC for 3 years, 600,000 miles I traveled, and I drove 300,000 miles before making a big transition to night transportation in Phoenix, where I drove 750,000 miles, or a total of 1 million miles. Now, I'm bringing this up relationship with my dad and my mom. My mom and my dad, when I left Denver, Colorado, January 2009, with a one-way train ticket after living here about 18 years, have been a big part of, in fact, probably I would say the central part of my truck driving career in my life. Why? Well, from the time I left here and met my dad in Laguna Beach in January 2009. This would be almost 15 years ago. My dad was 75, I was 55, going into my loft right now. That's all the time it takes to go from Whole Foods to the front of my front door. Hey, this is Doug, of course. I'm leaving Union Station on a beautiful day, sunny day, but last night, I guess there were 70-mile-an-hour winds, and I think today should be okay. I have a tax appointment at 10 this morning, very critical time now. In fact, I'm going through a very critical transitionary period right now that's very important. One of the reasons why it's significant, sadly, is 3 weeks ago today, on March 17th, my father passed away at home about 7:30 in the morning, and I was at REI coffee shop, which is about 11-minute walk from here. It's one of my favorite places to go because of the environment. My brother-in-law, Roger, called me from Arizona City and said my dad had just passed away about a half an hour before. We talked for a little while about what was happening, but prior to Roger calling me, my brother-in-law, my mom had been writing regular email updates with my dad about my dad's condition, one of which was about 8 days before he passed away, that his hospice nurse, and he was not at a hospital or a retirement home, he was on a hospital bed at home. And prior to that, he had been in and out of the hospital, and to go back even further, he passed away March 17th, 2024, but on June 5th, 2023, I drove out to Arizona City in my Prius to see my dad because he had called me on June 1st, beginning of summer, and said he was dying. My mom sent me a text that Dad's dying. I immediately booked an airline ticket to Phoenix, right, to see my dad before he passed away. Now, just an important timeline, that was June 1st, and he had turned 90 on April 24th, 2023. Just a few weeks before that, he turned 90, and that's all he wanted to do is make it to 90, and this was 6 weeks after he turned 90. And important point is I had seen my dad spring of 2022 when I officially left Arizona City after my mom and dad had sold the house that I called home for 10 years, my home time. And I left to come here to Colorado to start a whole new chapter after leaving here January 2009, and I've been away about 14 or 15 years. So it was really significant. So I drove out. At that point, my two sisters, Deanna and Kathy or Roger, were not there. I only had Sunday, June 5th, and the next day, June 6th, to see my mom and dad. I saw Jerry and Shirley, I saw Billy. I spent some quality time, not only with my mother and father, talking about everything, but it was summertime. It was 105 degrees Fahrenheit, and it was summertime here. I'm gonna get in my car and continue this conversation right now.